Intel b760 desktop PC with Windows 8.1, 64-bit, 2023 build. New hardwares. ASUS ROG Strix b760A, Gaming Wi-Fi D4. Intel Core i5 13500 processor with stock cooler. Corsair RAM 128GB, DDR4, 2CMK64GX4M2E3200C16. Existing hardwares. ASUS Display Card GT1032G CSM to enable launch CSM in BIOS, boot, CSM, compatibility support module. Intel Pro 1000 PT server adapter to replace onboard network. NVIDIA High Definition Audio or USB audio to replace onboard sound. ASUS U3S6, 2 internal SATA 6 GB per second and 2 external USB 3.0. Windows 8.1 OS drive, Intel 2.5 SATA SSD 53120 GB. Data drive, Seagate X07E8ST8000NM000A8TB. Software. RamDisk, ROG RamDisk offered by ASUS ROG Motherboard. CPU, Intel 13th generation, Intel Core i5-13500 processor with stock cooler. Code name, formerly Raptor Lake. Lithography, Intel 7, previously 10 nanometers enhanced superfin. Total cores, 14 cores with 6 performance cores and 8 efficient cores, total 20 threads. Max turbo frequency, 4.8 GHz, performance core 4.8 GHz, efficient core 3.5 GHz. Base frequency, performance core 2.5 GHz, efficient core 1.8 GHz. Cache, 24 MB Intel Smart Cache, total L2 cache, 11.5 MB. Processor power, base 65 Watt, maximum turbo power, 154 Watt. Intel graphics, Intel UHD Graphics 770, supports DirectX 12, OpenGL 4.5, QuickSync Video, OpenCL 2.1. Launch date, Q1 2023. Motherboard, Intel b760 LGA 1700 from ASUS. ASUS ROG Strix b760A, Gaming Wi-Fi D4. Memory, 4 DIMM, Dual Channel Memory Architecture, DDR4 5333, OC, Max 128 GB. Graphics, 1 DisplayPort 1.4, 4K at 60 Hz, 1 HDMI 2.1, 4K at 60 Hz. Expansion slots. 1 PCIe 5.0 x 16 slot, CPU. 1 PCIe 3.0 x 16 slot x 4 mode, chipset. 2 PCIe 3.0 x 1 slot, chipset. Storage. 1 M.2 key M2242, 2260, 2280, PCIe 4x4, CPU. 1 M.2 key M2242, 2260, 2280, 22110, PCIe 4x4, chipset. 1 M.2 key M2242, 2260, 2280, PCIe 4x4, chipset. 4 SATA 6 GB per second ports, chipset. Memory, DIMM DDR4 from Corsair, Corsair RAM CMK64GX4M2E3200C16. Memory, DIMM DDR4 232 GB memory modules. Tested, latency 16, 20, 20, 38, with speed 3200 MHz at 1.35 volt. SPD, latency 15, 15, 15, 36, with speed 2133 MHz at 1.2 volt. Speed rating, PC 4-25600, 3200 MHz. Total installed memory, 128 GB, 4 times 32 GB. CPU cooler, Intel stock cooler. Intel laminar RM1 cooler. Overall height, up to 47 mm, top of fan to bottom of heatsink. Overall size, up to 100 mm x 100 mm. Mass, up to 350 G. Sound pressure level, 29 dBA, 2400 RPM, 40 C inlet, 65 watt. TDP support, up to 65 watt. Fan type, 4-pin, PWM controlled variable speed fan. Operation, voltage 13.2 volt max, 12.0 volt rated, 10.8 volt min, current up to 400 mA. RPM, max up to 3150 RPM, plus or minus 5%, min 600 RPM, plus or minus 20%. PWM, frequency 25 kHz plus or minus 5 kHz, pull-up voltage 5.25 V max, duty cycle range 0 to 100%. Power supply, ATX power supply from Cooler Master, Silent Pro Hybrid 850 watt full modular. ATX version, ATX 12BB 2.3. Dimensions, L times W times H 180 times 150 times 86 mm. Fan, 135 mm, silent hydraulic bearings. Power rating, 850 watt, 80 plus gold. Connector, full modular, 1 ATX24, 2 EPS 4 plus 4, 12 SATA, 5 peripheral 4, 1 floppy 4, 6 PCIe 6 plus 2, 3 fan 3. Graphics card from ASUS GT 1032 GCSM. Graphics engine, NVIDIA GeForce GT 1030. Bus standard, PCI Express 3.0. Video memory, GDDR5 2 GB. OpenGL 4.5. Engine clock, OC mode, GPU boost clock, 1506 MHz, GPU base clock, 1266 MHz, gaming mode, default, GPU boost clock, 1468 MHz, GPU base clock, 1228 MHz. CUDA core, 384. Memory clock, 6008 MHz. Memory interface, 64-bit. Resolution, DBI max resolution 1920 x 1200. Interface, DBI output yes1, native, DBID, HDMI output yes1, native, HDCP support yes. Dimensions, 6.8 x 2.7 x 1.5 inch, 17.3 x 6.9 x 4 cm. Network adapter from Intel Pro 1000 PT server adapter. Connectors, RJ45. IEEE standards, network topology, 10 base T, 100 base TX, 1000 base T. Wiring, category 5, UTP, 4 pair. Plug and play specification support, PIO mode 4, Ultra DMA33. Data rate supporter per port, 10, 100, and 1000 Mbps. Bus type, PCI Express 1.0A. Bus width, times 1 lane PCI Express, operable in times 1, times 4, times 8, times 16 slots. Bus speed, times 1, encoded rate 2.5 Gbps unidirectional, 5 Gbps bidirectional. IEEE support, 802.3 AB. Expansion card from ASUS. ASUS, U3S6. Internal connectors, 2 SATA 6 GB per second ports, backward compatible with SATA 3 GB per second and SATA 1.5 GB per second. External connectors, 2 USB 3.0 ports, backward compatible with USB 2.0, 1.1 interface. Interface, PCI Express x 4 interface, compatible with PCI Express x 4, x 8, and x 16 slots. Configuration supported, AHCI mode. OS drive, SSD from Intel. OS drive, Intel Solid State Drive 53120G. Form factor, 2.5 SATA. Sequential read, write, maximum 540, 480 megabytes per second. Random read, write, up to 24K, 80K IOPs. Minimum useful life, endurance rating, up to 20 GB of host writes per day, 5 years. Interface, SATA 6 GB per second, compatible with SATA 3 GB per second. Capacity, 120 GB. Data drive, hard disk drive from Seagate. Data drive, Seagate ASUS 7E8ST8000NM000A8TB. Form, interface, 3.5-inch HDD. Spindle speed, 7200 RPM. Max sustainable transfer rate, 249 megabytes per second. Idle average, 7.64 watt. Average operating power, 12.81 watt. Power supply requirements, plus 12 volt and plus 5 volt. Temperature, operating, 5 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. Height times width times depth, in mm, max 1.028, 26.1 times 4.010, 100, and 1.85 times 5.787, 147.0. Weight, 716 g, 1.58 pounds. Capacity, 8 TB. Storage, RamDisk. ASUS ROG RamDisk offered by ASUS ROG Motherboard. UEFI BIOS, Compatibility Support Module. Insert graphics card to activate the Compatibility Support Module. UEFI BIOS Utility, Advanced Mode, Boot, CSM, enable Compatibility Support Module to change boot device control to UEFI and Legacy OPROM. UEFI BIOS Utility, Advanced Mode, Boot, Boot Option Priorities, select SATA 6G boot drive. Reference, https://www.asus.com/us/support/faq/1045467. Desktop PC 2023 build. Hardware, Lianli PC60 USB case, ASUS ROG Strix b760 a gaming Wi-Fi D4, Intel 13500, Intel Laminar RM1 stock cooler, 4 Corsair CMK64GX4 M2E3200C16, ASUS GT1032G CSM, Intel Pro, 1000 PT server adapter, ASUS U3S6, Cooler Master, Silent Pro Hybrid 850W Full Modular, Intel Solid State Drive 53120G, Seagate ASUS 7E8ST8000NM000A8TB. OS, Windows 8.1.